Did you know? In the Louisiana swamps, a curse has been passed down since the last century. Anyone who hunts wild boar here must face their fate. These boars, with crescent-shaped tusks sharp as blades, tear through every inch of land they cross. Each footprint left behind is a warning of lurking danger. Yet the hunting teams do not falter. Brave and determined, they venture deep into the swamps, ready for a battle that will decide their destiny. It's not just about hunting wild boar, it's a challenge against fate itself. Stay tuned for the intense moments coming right up. Kevin's team set out toward the swamp. By the time dawn broke, no words were spoken, only decisive actions. The hunt began swiftly. "10 minutes into the search, Kevin's eyes never wavered from the subtle movements around him. Suddenly, piercing barks shattered the silence, drawing his full attention. Without hesitation, he rushed forward. Right before him, a wild boar was trapped, with nowhere left to run. The moment had arrived. A swift, precise strike brought the beast down instantly. One more threat eliminated in the blink of an eye. Before he could catch his breath, the sharp bark rang out again, just a few hundred meters away. Without hesitation, his steps quickened, eyes scanning the surroundings. As he turned, the wild boar suddenly came into view. One bullet was all it took to bring the beast down. Another threat neutralized in an instant. The sun rose high, yet Kevin and his team's determination never wavered. The relentless hunt pressed on without pause. A sudden rustle broke the silence. Alert and focused, Kevin immediately raised his rifle, ready for anything. As a shadow darted into view, bold gunfire rang out in rapid succession, each shot nearly flawless. Now, the land lay scattered with the fallen beasts, silent witnesses to the battle fought and won. Meanwhile, the California fields were engulfed in chaos. James and his team swiftly took control of the battleground, their off-road vehicle speeding relentlessly toward the action. From afar, a dark shape dashed at full speed, blurring James' vision, but he recognized it just in time. Arriving right at the intercept point, the beast charged forward. A perfectly aimed shot rang out. The heavy creature collapsed instantly. The prize now belonged to James, marking yet another victory for the team. No time to catch his breath. The baying of hunting dogs snapped James' focus instantly. Moving swiftly toward the source of the signal, he slipped deep into the dense sugarcane field. Every step was urgent, fearing the beast might escape. Oh my god! The giant beast suddenly charged straight at James. A powerful squeeze of the trigger. The bullet found its mark. The creature collapsed, trapped within the circle of hunting dogs. What do you think about that moment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As the sunset faded, James and his team raced to track down their final target before darkness swallowed the land. Circling the sugarcane field with no sign in sight, James remained vigilant, his eyes sharp. His patience paid off. A sudden rustle broke the silence. Rifle raised and ready, he caught sight of the beast just as it revealed itself. The familiar crack of gunfire echoed. Dead center, the bullet struck true. A decisive shot. Swift, clean, and precise. Amid rugged terrain teeming with danger, hordes of wild boars gathered to take refuge. But today, fearless hunters venture straight into their lair to track down these ferocious beasts. Do they have the grit to take down the savage horde? Breathtaking moments from treacherous swamps to dark, dense forests are about to unfold. Join us to witness every shot that marks their triumphant hunt, coming up next. Rugged terrain, conquering wild boars in the muddy lands. The hunt across the Texas swamps will be the first battleground for today's clash. Deep within the marsh, Nick quickly spots a herd of wild boars foraging together. In an instant, he locks onto his target and pulls the trigger. The gunshot echoes, sending the herd scattering in panic, leaving behind the body of a hefty boar on the leaf-strewn ground. A precise, clean shot. An impressive opening to this thrilling pursuit.
Right in front of you.
More behind him.
Oh!
Get him, Jack!
At the clearing near the swamp, a lone wild boar, leisurely foraging, falls squarely into John's crosshairs. Without hesitation, he adjusts his rifle's aim and squeezes the trigger. The shot rings out, striking the beast dead on, leaving its lifeless body motionless on the ground. Another threat neutralized, another triumph added to the team's tally. Continuing to track the trail to the eastern edge of the swamp, John quickly spots his target. A wild boar, engrossed in foraging, remains oblivious to the hunter's presence. Selecting the optimal position and angle, he pulls the trigger. Flawlessly executed, the beast collapses instantly, without a chance to resist. Almost simultaneously, the familiar sound of gunfire echoes from other ambush points, signaling the mission's success. The threat is swiftly neutralized, ensuring these beasts won't ravage the farmer's crops, at least for today. A decisive shot rings out through the dense forest, where another hunting team has just arrived in their familiar vehicle. Upon reaching the site, they swiftly move to their pre-assigned positions. Mere minutes later, a wild boar ambles directly into Leon's crosshairs. Waiting for the perfect moment, a single gunshot shatters the silence, and the beast collapses instantly. An impeccably precise shot, eliminating yet another threat to the forest. At the same moment, deep within the forest, a hidden marksman spots a herd of wild boars entering his line of sight. A rapid succession of shots rings out, striking two boars at the rear while the lead boar escapes into the dense woods. Outside the forest, the barking of hunting dogs echoes. Instantly, a massive wild boar emerges. Without hesitation, a barrage of bullets is unleashed, cutting off the beast's escape route. To ensure no mistakes, the hunter approaches closer and delivers a final decisive shot, completely neutralizing the threat. This meticulous takedown reveals just how cunning these beasts are, keeping the hunters ever vigilant. Another area is cleanly secured, restoring peace to the land overrun by these creatures.
The lush green fields now bear only the scars of destruction caused by rampaging wild boars. Multiplying rapidly, they swarm down, devastating the crops. Upon receiving reports, the hunters immediately set out, determined to halt this destruction. Can they stop the beasts and restore peace to the fields? Follow the thrilling moments ahead to find out. The French grasslands are becoming a hotspot as ferocious beast herds wreak havoc. Thomas's hunting team swiftly moves in, kicking off a thrilling pursuit. Just minutes later, a shooter spots the wild boar herd charging past, seeking refuge in the dense forest on the other side. Without hesitation, he pulls the trigger, and the second boar collapses instantly on the green grass. The rest scatter in panic, hiding before the next shot can ring out. The battle has officially begun. Continuing to track the remaining wild boars, Thomas keenly observed every thicket ahead. Suddenly, a shot from his teammate rang out, and a boar burst forward. Not letting it escape, a decisive shot immediately echoed, cutting off the animal's path to freedom.
Wait.
At another location, the barking of hunting dogs signaled the prey's position. The shooter immediately rushed forward, ready to engage. At that moment, a wild boar charged across his line of sight. Without a moment's hesitation, a gunshot rang out instantly. The bullet struck directly into the animal's body, causing it to collapse onto the thick grass, unable to escape. At the same time, a night hunt was unfolding in the Texas fields. Kevin's team had arrived early, surrounding an area suspected of harboring wild boar tracks. At the edge of the field, through binoculars, a shooter spotted the boar herd charging down, wreaking havoc. Unable to stand by any longer, gunfire erupted in rapid succession. Several boars were taken down on the spot, their bodies scattered across the field, with only a few managing to escape into the thickets. At the eastern edge of the field, The 3 remaining wild boars were trying to slip away, but they couldn't evade Jack's infrared scope. Without a second's hesitation, the next series of shots
3,
rang out
2,
swift, clean, and precise. They collapsed on the spot, unable to escape, leaving only their scattered remains across the field. Another threat was eradicated. The radio crackled with signals pinpointing the locations of other wild boar herds. Kevin and his team swiftly moved in. The boars were busy grazing, unaware of the ambush awaiting them. Without delay, gunfire erupted, sweeping through the beasts in rapid bursts, leaving them no chance to escape. The Texas field was now littered with the remains of the destructive pests. Peace had been restored. Hunting wild boars is a swift way to protect crops, revive the economy, and maintain the balance between humans and nature. However, all activities must comply with the law while ensuring absolute safety for the shooters throughout the process of controlling wildlife populations.
In the dead of night, an urgent call tore through the quiet for Thomas and Finn. Back home in Morocco, wild boars were on a rampage, tearing up fields and destroying fruit trees. The villagers, terrified and helpless, were at their wits' end. As dawn broke, 2 seasoned hunting teams immediately set out, fully equipped. They headed straight for the hotspots, not just on a hunt, but on a mission. Driven by courage and a fierce determination, they entered a battle to reclaim peace for their homeland. The first stop was Thomas's family's orange grove, a scene of devastation where the boars had been wreaking havoc night after night. The team worked with military precision, forming an unbreakable encirclement around the entire grove. They were on a mission. No beast would get out. The hounds were unleashed, their frantic bark signaling the start of the hunt. Within minutes, a ferocious chorus of barks erupted, pulling every eye to the sound. The hunters raised their weapons, their senses on high alert. Suddenly, a boar charged right in front of Thomas. In a flash, he took a shot, a quick and decisive action that ended its desperate run. The boar lay still, a testament to a perfectly executed ambush. Inside the garden, a small, tight-knit team was positioned, their senses on high alert for every movement and sound. Their coordinated efforts were flawless. The instant a boar emerged from its hiding spot, a rapid barrage of shots cut off its escape route for good. In quick succession, cheers of triumph rang out from other locations, signaling that another dangerous threat to Thomas's family garden had been neutralized. Meanwhile, Finn's hunting party had reached the southern hillside, a known hiding spot for the boars. Their wheels kicked up dust as they sped to the planned location, and the second they stopped, urgent footsteps moved to their positions. Just as Finn settled in, a wild boar shot across his path. He instantly opened fire, and the beast crumpled to the ground, its escape halted in its tracks. There was no time to inspect their kill. A new signal blared, and Finn raced toward the new location. Just a few hundred meters away, a herd of wild boars burst into view, running for their lives. Without a second thought, a furious round of gunfire erupted, relentlessly pursuing each one. A wave of sound ripped through the quiet as the animals dropped, their bodies strewn across the ground, marking the end of a fierce and brutal chase. As the sun climbed higher, the team decided to switch tactics, splitting up their forces to block off the entire hillside. It wasn't long before Finn's group successfully cornered a boar. The frenzied barking of the dogs created a chaotic scene as the boar desperately tried to escape, but its efforts were in vain. A series of shots rang out, successfully halting its desperate run. In every direction, other teams were having similar success, each victory another notch in their belts.
Bravo, yeah.
Down the rugged, bush-covered slope, a wild boar darted across James' path. Seizing the opportunity, James executed a series of lightning-fast maneuvers, taking the beast down in an instant. Its rampage was over for good. Cheers of joy erupted. Everyone's face was alight with satisfaction, proud to have protected their land from the destruction of these fierce monsters.
Wild boar meat has long been the key ingredient in Dobic Saint-Lieur, the renowned red wine stew from Provence and Corsica, France. To secure the freshest, most flavorful meat, there's nothing better than hunting it yourself in the wild. That's why we set off into the vast, untamed forest, where dramatic confrontations with wild boars awaited us. The forest morning was cloaked in a thin layer of mist. We moved deeper into the ancient woods, quietly spreading out to maintain visibility and provide support when needed. As soon as the dogs were released, they sprang into action, barking loudly the moment they picked up a scent. We rushed toward the sound of their agitated barks. There it was. Take the shot. A loud crack echoed through the forest. The boar was hit and dropped immediately onto the leaf-strewn ground. But before we could even celebrate, another group of wild boars came charging out. We kept firing, our rifles roaring through the trees. In less than 3 minutes, we had harvested more game than we ever imagined. Just as we caught our breath, a rustling sound came from the bushes ahead. Wait, did you hear that? I whispered, tightening my grip on the rifle. We froze, eyes locked on the dense foliage. Suddenly, another boar burst out. I raised my gun and squeezed the trigger. The bullet zipped through the air and struck it clean. The animal crumpled on the spot. Each step across the dead branches crunched beneath our feet, as if the forest itself was quietly watching us. Suddenly, a sound came from across the trail. I see it, I whispered, signaling to the team. I dropped into position and carefully aimed for a vital shot. But the gunfire shattered the silence. The boar jolted, then collapsed. Once again, calm nerves and sharp skills helped us win in the harsh wilderness. But I knew, tougher trials still lay ahead. It was already past noon. We took a quick break before continuing the hunt. Out here, we could never afford to let our guard down. Thankfully, our pack of hunting dogs was always alert. The dogs picked up a scent and quickly flushed a boar from deep in the forest, pushing it toward our position. The boars had nowhere left to run. They were forced to surrender to the cold, powerful muzzle of the lions. We no longer moved in large groups, but split up, each man in a lookout post. Then, out of the dense canopy, I locked my gaze on it, finger resting on the trigger. But out of nowhere, another herd of wild boars exploded from the bushes like a sudden storm. Shoot! Now, acted on instinct, firing immediately. After a quick burst of gunfire, one of the boars lay dead. As I returned to the rendezvous point, Chris was still engaged in a tense standoff with the boars that had just charged. Hunting wild boars for meat not only provides a natural source of protein, but also helps control their population and prevent damage to crops. That said, we always adhere strictly to conservation principles and local hunting laws. These are the rules we live by on every hunt.